The following program contains explicit candor. If you suffer from self-deception, Randall may not be right for you. Check with your political advisor.
Proclaiming the truth in the highways and byways of the world. Fighting for justice in the dark alleys of politics. Raising the voice of resistance to a fevered pitch. The man who creates social tension just by walking into the room, Randall Terry.
Welcome to a special edition of today's program, friends. We're broadcasting to you from a logging camp in northern Oregon. We've moved here to Montana in case President Obama calls for a martial state, martial law, whatever that thing is called. Because there's a good chance that the Republicans are going to take the House of Representatives. And if they do, Obama's bound to declare the election invalid and become the first dictator of the United States of America. And so, we're here in northern Montana, Oregon, building us a fortress. Today's program brought to you in part by the coal miners of West Virginia, who are about to go Republican. Ha! And by Rand Paul for U.S. Senate. Hey, if you can't have his dad as president, have the son in the Senate. I'm gonna take a quick break, give one of my good comedic friends a chance to make you laugh. Then we're going to look at the news. We're gonna have something about the news. Quiet, woman, I'm doing television.
Welcome, boys and girls. Grandma very angry today. You know, because Muslim Brotherhood is very angry, and they are all my boys. You know, their leader, Muhammad Badi, he said, wage jihad against Israel and United States because they do not honor the words of Allah, and the words of Allah must reign supreme. Listen, obey Allah and His Messenger.
Welcome back to the program, friend. We have left camp. We're headed back to the mainland now. It's a long haul over some very treacherous water, so we'll be doing most of the show probably from this boat.
We have become, in many aspects,
as you know, we're in the middle of the final days of the election where the Democrats are going to fall from power.
My hat.
And as happy as I am,
all right, Gary,
I'm just a little too old and I've been around just a little too much to rejoice yet. I'll rejoice. Oh, I'm going to jump for joy when Obamacare is totally overturned or when the House of Representatives says no, we're not going to fund it. We've talked about that before. Let me go to some of the news that's in the news and then we'll pontificate a little bit later. Ford Motor Company, God bless them. They've posted a third quarter profit, a big profit, showing that unlike GM and Chrysler, who went like little piggies to the federal trough, that they are still an American company, run by American businessmen, bought and paid for by the American consumer and by foreign consumers. Many of you probably heard of the boycott. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there are people who participate in boycotts, where you don't buy something. Some people said, hey, let's have a boycott. Well, I'm not in a position right now to buy a new car, but if I was, you better believe I'd buy a Ford. Because Ford did not turn to my children and to me to bail them out of a bad economy. Big business, wedded with big government. That, my friends, is the historic definition of, you know what it is? Yeah, fascism. See the word on your screen? Fascism. There's a lot of people that say, oh, he's a fascist, he denies freedom of speech. Well, there were elements of the fascist governments, Germany and in Italy, that did deny freedom of speech. But the essence of fascism was its economic policies. Big government in cahoots with big business. We have become, in many aspects, not just a socialist state, but a fascist state. My hat off to you, Ford. All right, Gary, what else is in the news? In other news, Harry Reid. By the way, did you know his grandfather was a horse thief? I mean, a genuine cattle rustling horse thief. No, I guess a cattle rustler would be a cattle thief. Anyway, Harry Reid, following a long line of theft. It's a proud family tradition. He got permission from the Nevada Secretary of State to serve food, to basically lure people out to events with free food and get out the Vote for Harry Reid events. Actually, this type of stuff has been banned for so long, most of us don't even remember the times when they used to serve food and drink to get people out. He's in trouble. He's shameless. Obama bet the farm on him. We'll see what happens. I hope that Sharon Angle wins. One other bit of news. What was that, Gary? Was that other news? Oh, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, who, by the way, they're made up of, their ruling panel is Satan, Beelzebub, and the god of the dead that hangs out at the River Styx. I forget the name of that guy. Hades, thank you. The three-judge panel, Hades, Beelzebub, and Satan, have ruled that the Arizona law requiring proof of citizenship to register to vote is unconstitutional. It's almost funny, isn't it? It's unconstitutional to require the Constitution be enforced. Because the Constitution requires that you be an American citizen to vote. And so, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which has sworn an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America, ruled that it's unconstitutional to require people to obey the Constitution. What is wrong with this picture? I want to know why these judges aren't impeached. And I want to know why people don't talk about bringing great bodily restrictions to them. I didn't say bodily harm, I said bodily restrictions. In other words, why aren't people talking about them being imprisoned? These judges should be in prison so that they can think long and hard about what they've done before they burn in hell. I'll be right back.
Why is it that when you have been looking for something for hours, you find it in the last place you look? Could it be that it's because when you find it, you quit looking?
Welcome back to the program, friend. We're here in a logging track in Oregon, as I told you, and standing next to me is a living legend. His name is Geronimo. Geronimo, before I ask you the questions about why you're here, what are some of the bigger projects you've worked on?
Well, the Sahara Forest was a good one.
Excuse me, the Sahara Forest?
Yeah, you probably know it now as the Sahara Desert.
The man is a legend. He took out the whole forest. That's what we're going to do with the Brazilian rainforest, right? Make it into the Brazilian rain desert?
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good wood down there.
All right, what are you guys doing here?
Well, right now we're hunting Muslim terrorists.
Really, really nice. So, have you ever found any Muslim terrorists in the woods?
Oh yeah.
Really, what did you do with them?
It's better I don't tell you. Better you don't know.
Welcome back to the program, friend. President Obama, my president, he's at a 37% approval rating. Now, if you break down that 37%, 22% of those people are on Prozac, 12% of them are crack addicts, 3% of them are on the federal payroll, and the remainder are Obama's relatives from Kenya who have somehow been able to become part of a poll in America. So you got to hand it to him. He's doing well. I love that man. Anyway, it's not enough that his approval ratings be in the toilet, which they are. We've got to work to bring the republic back to moral sanity. I know it's going to hurt some people's feelings when I tell you this, but listen to me. Under George W. Bush, the deficit grew. And under Bill Clinton, this is going to be painful to hear. There were a couple years where he actually didn't spend more money than he took in. That's my memory anyway. I could be wrong. Maybe it was only 1 year. But he actually balanced the budget once or twice. Now, You Tea Party people. We, Tea Party activists. I was Tea Party before Tea Party was cool. All right? There has to be a level of depth and consistency in our economic agenda that is not party loyal. All right? The reason I brought up George W. Bush and the House and the Senate that were both in Republican hands is because they made the deficit grow. Okay? Spending went up under them. They did not give us any substantive change. And the first major bailout of Wall Street occurred under George Bush's presidency. Remember? Before the election? So, those who think that we can just blame the Democrats, blame Obama, well, you might be part of the people that are on Prozac and crack. Hello? You have to decide what is the principle, the governing principle of your economic policy. Many people regularly hear me say, until you're prepared to say, you, sir, until you are prepared to say, we have to get rid of Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. End them. Now, you can phase them out, all right? We have to do it in a way that is at least just, gradual. I don't know how that would be, but we can discuss that. That's a policy, strategic debate. But the principle is that they are socialism. And if you and I are not willing to give up, say, our college grants that are paid for with federal money, Pell grants, WIC, food stamps, all of it. Until you're ready to say that it's all got to go, you're still a socialist. I'm not trying to be unkind. And you might want to say, well, okay, fine, I am a socialist, and I think it should be very principled and very limited. That's fine, but just admit it. Say, I'm a small government socialist. Don't say I'm a Tea Party activist and I want to end socialism. Until you're ready to get rid of your Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security, all right? I have to be willing to say, I will not take a Social Security check. Until I'm ready to do that, then I've got my hand in your pocket, you've got yours in mine. We're just stealing from each other, folks. All right, Obama at 37%. A little bit of other news, kind of sad. Tariq Aziz, maybe it's not sad, but Tariq Aziz is, or was, Saddam Hussein's, I think he was Secretary of State at one point. He had a foreign mission usually, but he did also hold some domestic posts. He was the only Christian inside of Saddam Hussein's inner circle. Yeah, former minister was one of his posts. He's been sentenced to hang. He's been sentenced to die. The Vatican is asking that he have his sentence mitigated. We'll see what happens. But, you know, here's the deal. Tariq Aziz had to know about the murders. He had to be covering up murders. He had to be participating in the slaughter of the Kurds. So there are times when if a capital offense is committed by a Christian, then that Christian has forfeited his life. Okay? And I understand the Vatican wanting him to not be executed. Right now the Vatican would like for almost no one to be executed. But nevertheless, Tariq Aziz was a key player in a damnable, demonic, violent, murderous regime. He's Christian by virtue of his baptism, okay? There were Christians around Hitler, all right? Hitler was baptized, if my memory is correct, as a Catholic. So to say, oh, someone shouldn't be executed because they're a Christian, somebody's selling and I ain't buying. When we come back from this break, I'm going to give you one of the coolest object lessons that I've seen in a long time. As we make good our escape to the mainland, I'm having to be very careful in here because we're in a very small channel. And I could hit something. But when we get back from this break, I'm going to show you how one little beaver can change the entire horizon. And in a kind of cool and significant way, can change the course of history. What we need are more little beavers, like my friend Missy Smith. I'll be right back. Don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver. Hit the point once, then come back and hit it a second time. A tremendous whack. Sir Winston Churchill. What you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is engineering genius. One little beaver has altered the lake level about 1.5 feet in this freshwater lake here in the mountain region of Oregon. Literally 1.5 feet of water is being stopped by the effort of one beaver. And as a result, the level of the lake is higher all the way around the shoreline. The entire horizon has literally been changed. Now, there's an object lesson here that I want you to think about, and that is this. If one or two people, just one or two people, will do everything in their power to change the horizon, to build a dam, if one or two people will say, I'm gonna make a stand on this hill and I'm gonna show pictures of dead babies like Missy Smith has done in her campaign. The entire horizon, the entire lake line, the entire shoreline of this body of water is altered because of one beaver. The other day when I was talking to you, I said, you can change the course of history. This beaver, in a very real way, has changed this entire body of water. Everybody here has to deal with the lack of water, or rather the lack of shoreline. Their docks are starting to go below the surface. It's really kind of funny. If a couple of people will put their resources, meager resources, this is some sticks and mud and leaves. If a few people will put meager resources at the exact right point, everything can be changed. You can be a part of altering history by using the tools and the gifts and the resources that God has put at your disposal at the right place in time. I'm going to take another break. Think about it. If this beaver can change the entire horizon with a few resources, why can't you? Why can't I? I'll be right back. Be not silent, O God of my praise, for wicked and deceitful mouths are opened against me, speaking against me with lying tongues. Samuel Adams said, "The truth is, all might be free if they valued freedom and defended it as they ought." The truth of the matter, my dear friends, we're not free. We have more freedom than most nations of the earth, but when you have to work 47% of a year before you start to earn money for yourself, you're not free. You're working for someone else. You're part of a socialist plantation. I mean, God himself only wants 10%. So when the government says that they want 47% between federal, state, and local taxes, we're glorified squatters, okay? We don't even own our houses. We rent them from the government. Oh no, mine's bought and paid for. Oh really? Don't pay your land tax for a while and see what happens. You'll lose your house. If we're going to restore this republic, it is going to be a long, hard battle, and we are going to have to be willing to endure fierce hatred and animosity from the socialists who want us to remain a slave state and a slave labor force for their agenda. We didn't get here easy, we didn't get here quick, and it's gonna take some effort to get out of here. I gotta get out of here. I gotta find another way out. This beaver dam is blocking the whole thing. I look forward to talking to you again. I'm Randall Terry. God bless you. Don't let me hit those rocks, baby.